Hey guys, Landon Rich here from Call Center Crew, bringing you the weekly wisdom here Friday morning. Just got done with my workout. Today I want to talk to you about agent spreads, managing to the spreads. So if you remember last week when we had Marcy Clausen on from Focus Services, she talked to us about some key principles in operating an omni-channel call center. And one of those principles was managing the spreads. So I want to dive a little bit deeper into that. So basically, managing the spreads is stack ranking your agents or teams, and then basically dividing them in thirds. Right? You've got your top 10%, your middle 80, and then your bottom 10%. So managing your spreads is basically moving those agents, the number of agents in those thirds, moving them up. Right? And the best way that I found to do this, and this was probably a little bit overkill, was when I was managing a team of about 15 agents, I would stack rank them every single day, and then I would have 3 pieces of paper. I'd have yesterday's performance, I'd have week to date, and I'd have month to date stack rankings printed out and posted up on the bay. This was before we had Clearview performance management software to be able to do that for us. But so at the time I would print out 3 pieces of paper. It was stack ranked, and depending on the metric, right? At the time, our primary metric was revenue per call. So I would stack rank based off revenue per call, RPC, and I would stack rank top to number 1 all the way down to 15. And I would take a highlighter. I'd highlight green, I'd highlight yellow, and I would highlight red. And then I would then post again yesterday, week to date, and month to date. And I would always make sure that they knew what the goal was. And it was very, very interesting as I started to get the agents involved in where they were at. I mean, it was public knowledge, right? Every agent could see that for yesterday, hey, Landon finished in the top third, or Jack finished in the middle. But it was awesome to see was over the month and over the 3-month course that we were managing the team in this way, managing the spreads. That very first printout of like the previous month's spreads, the majority of the team was in the red. You maybe had 1 or 2 top performers in the green, which means at or above goal. Yellow, meaning anywhere between, you set the threshold, but, off goal by $20 in this case, and then red meaning anything below. Little by little, as we started to manage the spreads and move people up from red to yellow, yellow to green, we saw something very interesting. That first printout, the majority of it was red. The middle of the month was the majority of yellow, and then by the end of the month, the majority was green, right? And the importance of this is if you have 1 or 2 top hitters and they're absent, guess what? That 1 or 2 green that you're usually having every day, you just have all yellows and reds now, or all reds. And so it's very, very important to make sure that you're looking at the details. Again, every agent, every day for sure, if not every interval, but managing those spreads in a way that you can then easily move them up from 1/3 to the next, to the next, to the next. And then the last step is, once you've got everybody moving up in thirds, you can start to tighten that threshold, right? Let's say, just for easy numbers, let's say our revenue per call was $100. That was the goal. So anybody at 100 or above was green. Let's say I started out with a threshold at the beginning of the month of $80. 80 to 100 was yellow, and anything below 80 was red. You can start to tighten those spreads. As the month goes on, let's say you get more people in that yellow, 80 to 100. Well, now you can start to tighten and say, hey, every week you start to tighten and say, hey, now yellow is 85 to 100, not 80 to 100, and then 90 to 100, and then 95 to 100. Then pretty soon you're tightening, right? You're tightening that middle ground, and then you keep moving your agents up. You keep them involved. They know exactly where they're at yesterday, week to date, month to date. And it's pretty awesome to see as you start to see not only everybody go from red to yellow, yellow to green, but you start to see your numbers, your spreads start to tighten. So on any given day, anybody can be absent. Because if your spreads are tight, everybody's finishing right there, right around goal or at goal. Doesn't matter who's absent. Doesn't matter who's sick. Doesn't matter who is on vacation. Doesn't matter. And when you go on vacation as a coach, if your spreads are tight, you've conditioned the behavior of your agents to perform at that level, Right. So again, I'm going to be releasing a course in 2018 that dives specifically into the details of how to manage spreads. It's going to be a 4 to 6 week course for supervisors on how to manage the spreads and how to move your team up. Doesn't matter the industry, doesn't matter the call type, doesn't matter the metric, but guaranteed to move those spreads up and on goal. So just dropping you some weekly wisdom, guys. Thanks for all the feedback I'm getting. Getting a huge following on Instagram. And I appreciate you listening to the podcast every Wednesday. Be sure to check us out, callcentercrew.com. Sign up for our newsletter and stay tuned with the notifications. Thanks, guys. Have a great day and a great weekend.